This is the sound of your ride home with Dad after he caught you vaping. Awkward, isn't it? Most vapes contain seriously addictive levels of nicotine and disappointment. Know the real cost of vapes. Brought to you by the FDA.
Sephora presents Your Granny, Pearl. Your grandmother, Pearl, she's had 83 years to refine her tastes, which means she's hard to buy for. She has a signature lip, signature car, signature drink, signature scarf, signature color, and she makes it all look effortless, which means gifting her takes maximum effortness. She knows what she likes, but she also has a nose. This holiday, don't overthink it. The best fragrance gifts are only at Sephora.
With Lululemon, the real gift happens when they're living in it. When you give the fan favorite everywhere belt bag, the real gift is... And when the ultra-soothing Rest Feel slides are the gift, you're really giving them... This holiday, Lululemon makes it easy to give little luxuries that go beyond. Open the moment. Shop now at Lululemon.com.
Hi there! I was wondering if you had some time to talk about our Lord and Savior, Orgazmo. You see, just 90 minutes of time basking in his words and deeds will have you feeling joy and happiness. He'll always be there for you, never let you down, and never lose faith in you, even when the critics have lost faith in him. That's because Orgazmo is not that bad. Welcome, one and all, to It's Not That Bad, the podcast that looks for A grades in B movies, and a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. And hello to all of our listeners in Campton Lower Village, New Hampshire, and around the world. We've had a stretch of films on this podcast where I have questioned all of my life's choices. I am surprised I made it all the way through. I am almost proud of myself for surviving the unsurvivable. So when I say I was psyched for this one, it's because I know I love this film. We're talking about Orgazmo. And here to join me for this episode, Alex Whistle's back on the show. Alex, how you doing, man?
I am so good. I'm so excited.
So you're the one who brought this movie to the show, and thank God you did, because I needed a tonic from some of the stretch of films I've had to cover lately. So what did I do that made you give me this gift of a film?
Honestly, I know that you and I kind of connect on the same level when it comes to sense of humor.
I'm so sorry for you, but yes, go on.
But I love the South Park guys. I know that you had this movie, and I said, this is kind of a bit of a no-brainer sort of choice. I knew that you had some form of access. I have access to this movie. I know that, it fit the criteria for this show. And I don't know. I like this movie. I genuinely like this movie. So I felt like it was going to be a good conversation to have,
Yeah. Dear listeners, you have to understand, when Alex comes over, the first thing he does pretty much, puts his bag down, and then he looks at the video shelf and goes, "Oh, you have this film. Oh, you have this movie too. Oh, you have this film." And yeah, I clearly he's picking his shots for future episodes. But yeah, this one was on the shelf in VHS form, may I add. But you're right. Like Matt Stone, Trey Parker. If you like South Park and you like their humor, and we're talking movies like Basketball as well, like that's in the mix. I have yet to watch Cannibal, their musical that they've done. It's maybe somewhere down the road. But yeah, Orgazmo, you damn right I love this film. So this is going to be an incredibly biased episode, just so you're aware. So if you're not a South Park fan, listen anyways, because we're going to have some fun. But if you are a South Park fan and you are shaken to your core that this film qualifies for the podcast, stick around, because we're gonna basically be your voice that defends this film. But before we do, it is time to take Orgazmo and trailerize it.
In the City of Angels, it's not hard to find broken souls, broken hearts, broken promises, and broken continuity. But from even the darkest places can come the brightest of souls, even if that place is Utah. Meet the mighty Joe Young, a Mormon who's more man than anyone else. Fate has given him the opportunity to make enough money to marry his fiancée in the Utah church that he works for free, where he knocks on doors, gets yelled at by little old foul-nosed seniors, and beat up by security guards. And you thought your job sucked. All he has to do is put on a mask and a codpiece and save the world, one stunt cock at a time. Along with his brilliant sidekick, they'll save the day from bad stereotypes, bad fight scenes, and bad taste in movies. Trey Parker is Orgazmo, rated NC-17. For never fear, Shota Boy is here.
I freaking love that. Love that.
For the record, this is actually the very first NC-17 film that we have done on this show. And I want to skip to this before we get into who's in this, because I took a look and I didn't expect the box office to be good for this film. And I was right, but I want to find a silver lining in this. This movie still to this day sits at number 22 on the all-time NC-17 box office list. So Alex, quick pop quiz. What is the number one box office movie of those rated NC-17?
God, this is going to be really tough for me to guess because I only found out it was NC-17 like right before we started recording this.
Take a wild shot in the dark.
Oh man, I had to guess NC-17. It would have to be something with minimal boobs, I feel.
Which doesn't make it a good film, though.
Oh man, I don't know why I'm thinking this, but maybe one of the old Monty Python movies.
No, and those aren't rated NC-17. So let me give you the answer from the top 5 going up.
Okay.
At number 5, Kids with 7.4 million at the box office. At number 4, The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover with 7.7 million, which that is a fantastic film. I don't care what anyone says. At number 3 is Henry and June with 11 million. At number 2 is a film that I know we're going to be covering somewhere down the road on the show, Showgirls at 20 million. But the number 1 box office film with an NC-17 rating is Last Tango in Paris with 36 million. And I know we're covering Showgirls, but I don't think any of those other films actually qualify. So just because an NC-17 rating is going to kill you at the box office doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad film, as proven by the top 5, minus Showgirls.
So, you want to be a marketer. It's easy. You just have to score a ton of leads and figure out a way to turn them all into customers. Plus, manage a dozen channels, write a million blogs, and launch 100 campaigns all at once. When that's done, simply make your socials go viral and bring in record profits. No sweat. Okay, fine. It's a lot of sweat. But with HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools, launching benchmark-breaking campaigns is easier than ever. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. The holidays are here, and you know what that means. It's time to get your friends and family the gifts they deserve. Take the stress out of shopping with Amazon's great deals and low prices on a huge range of items from toys to tech and much more. Whoever you're gifting for, Amazon has great prices on everything you need this holiday season. Shop Black Friday week starting November 21st.
His code name's Jackal. He's an exceptional assassin.
Streaming now on Peacock.
He will kill again, unless we stop him.
Academy Award winner Eddie Redmayne.
You're paying me to kill him. I am charging you for getting away.
The Jackal's here. Look at the exits.
BAFTA award winner Lashana Lynch.
I will find him and I will kill him myself. I like to win.
So do I.
The Day of the Jackal. Streaming now, only on Peacock.
But let's get into who is in this film. The movie stars Trey Parker, Dion Bahar, Michael Dean Jacobs, Matt Stone, Ron Jeremy, yes, Ron Jeremy, Robin Lynn, Toddy Walters, David Dunn, and Andrew Kemmler. However, there is a slight almost starring in this. In the role of the film director, as played by Michael Dean Jacobs, it was originally supposed to be Ron Jeremy. But they apparently, and this is according to IMDb, found a better actor and they put Ron Jeremy into the Clark character. The movie is written and directed by Trey Parker and was actually partially funded by an actual Japanese porn company because apparently they wanted to promote some of their adult stars to the North American audience. This was the way they did it. I mentioned the NC-17 all-time box office list. This film had a budget of $1 million only, but only had a box office of $602,302. Now, remember, this is an NC-17 film, so it was in very limited release. So I want to put this into perspective. When it was released on the October 23rd, 1998 weekend, it debuted at number 18 with only $210,073. But that's only appearing in 94 theaters. That's it. The number one film that weekend was the debut of Pleasantville, which debuted with 8.8 million. But that was in 1,636 theaters. So even with Orgazmo appearing in so few screens, it still made $2,234 per theater. Now, that doesn't compare to Pleasantville, which had about double that. But you take a look at a film like Soldier, which is one that I know I want to cover because it's basically the spiritual sequel of Blade Runner. But that was in 2,500 theaters, but only made $2,571 per theater. So Orgazmo on a per screen basis is kind of up there with other bigger, wider release films. So the NC-17 rating does definitely attack you at the box office, but this has kind of become a cult film. You would agree, Alex?
Absolutely. I find it really interesting too, hearing kind of like that breakdown for that movie, because I feel like, and I know we're going to get to this later, but like, I feel like the movie kind of predicted that if you kind of like pay attention to the plot a little bit. But no, I agree. Cult classic for sure.
Oh, absolutely. But the reason why we are here, and not just because Alex has fantastic taste in films, he also checked the movie shelf at the house. So, you know, he knew what he was picking next, are the critics. Over at Rotten Tomatoes, the film has a 44% tomatometer and a popcorn meter of 66%. So a bit of a swing, and critics, I'm not surprised by 44%. At Metacritic, the film has a Metascore of 48. At IMDb, has 6.1 stars out of 10. At Letterboxd, it has 3 stars for a 60% rating, and at the movie database, it also sits at 61%, giving this film the aggravated aggregate of 56.6%. So before we even get started, it's a borderline film for us, because of course our cutoff is 60% over Rotten Tomatoes. But even the aggravated aggregate sits at what I like to call a college fail at 56.6%. Do you think this film is unfairly maligned?
Oh yeah, I think it deserves at least 60. I think it deserves a little bit more than that. Like, but also if you think about it, it's right in like the hot zone of South Park, right? South Park itself had a lot of crap going on with people receiving that show at the time. So, you see those guys as names attached to a movie. They're setting themselves up for failure or for like some sort of negative thing too. I also think that their comedy style is completely different than what was being popular at the time. So like we'll get into it. We'll get into it.
Right. But let me put things into perspective here. Just taking a look at the big name films that Trey Parker has basically directed and produced and wrote in the whole works. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut, obviously is their best critic score at 81% with a popcorn meter of 88%. Team America, World Police has a critic score of 77%, audience score of 80. Cool. No worries. Cannibal the Musical, 61% critic score, 82% audience score. Orgazmo, we mentioned, 48%, 66% popcorn meter. The lowest rated film from the critics is Basketball at 41%. But Basketball has a higher popcorn meter than Orgazmo at 74%. So if we're just taking a look at the two Trey Parker films that qualify, Basketball and Orgazmo, one in each hand, which one are you picking?
Oh, I will say I prefer Basketball over Orgazmo.
I mean, Basketball definitely has the better soundtrack. But I think I actually prefer Orgazmo. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because the humor is a little bit on the stupider side, but I'm kind of all for it.
I listen, there's no wrong answer here for me. Those two movies are in my top rotation, I feel, in like the comedy genre. So it's
which is why you're perfect for this show. Like you're broken like us. It's all good. I will say that, and I mentioned the soundtrack. I had the theme song for Orgazmo stuck in my head now for 2 days running, walking around the house going, now you're a man, a manny man. Yeah. And now if you've watched the movie, you have it stuck in your head as well. You're welcome. But let's get to the breakdown of this film. Starting, of course, with Trey Parker as Joe Young / Orgazmo. Your thoughts on him?
It's just so over the top, and I love it. Being a South Park fan first, and then discovering these movies, I felt like I was watching a live action South Park movie. If I'm being honest, there's always those isms that he does. Like Joe Young, 1 minute could feel like a random person in the South Park universe, but could also come off a little bit more like Randy or any other characters that he plays on that show. And it's just, he's taking a caricature and turning it into a caricature, I feel, when it comes to how he plays like the Mormon, how he plays Orgazmo, or any other sort of voiceover that he's done throughout this movie. I love it.
Yeah, there are times when you're watching this film and you hear something or you see something and you're like, no, I know that's straight South Park. Like when he's being, how do we say, loved up on by T-Rex, the fat lady stripper.
Oh my God. I screamed, laughed for, I swear to God, like probably like 20 minutes. I had to pause the damn movie because all I kept picturing him going, oh yeah, give it to mama.
Oh, you're gonna love me, yeah. Now, apparently, and I didn't mention this in the almost starring, they actually had a stripper in line for this, known as, and her stage name is Eartha Quake. But apparently when it came time to do the film, they realized that she had actually lost a lot of her excess weight. So they had to go with someone who is credited as, on IMDb, the fat lady stripper. That's how she's credited. So, yeah, this is what you're getting into with this film. But the thing is, I like the way he portrayed Joe, right? Not street smart, very sheltered, very naive, like very Bible, like everything is this perfect Bible-esque ideal in his world. And now he's in LA and shooting porn, and it's like Joe is best when he's having those inner morality battles rather than some of the craziness that's, like when he's being loved up on by T-Rex.
Yeah.
It's those moments where he's like trying to stay true to himself. Meanwhile, the outside world is happening around him, and he's trying to almost justify things or try to get them right in his head. Like, he has that look of just pure angelic naivete in a world that is neither angelic nor naive.
Yeah.
Dion Bahar, who played Ben Chaplesky and Chota Boy, the sidekick genius sex fiend. Your thoughts on him?
I love that actor. I forgot. I don't know how I forgot, but being a huge fan of basketball, it's the same trio in both movies. And I feel like they just play off of each other so well. And it's just, I don't know, you watch these actors work together and you almost can't tell what's scripted and what is sort of like off the cuff. And I think that is what makes sort of like these movies work as well as they do. And to see basically a guy with a super huge PhD and like all of this like actual book smart go from creating all of these essentially dildo inventions to being the sidekick in Orgazmo. It's just, I think the way that they show that story is so funny.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Dion Bahar's filmography, and I'm seeing films where I'm like, I've never heard of this film, but I need to watch it. Movies like TV the Movie, or
I saw that.
You have? Is it good?
No.
You're very straightforward about that.
I think I have that. I think I have it somewhere in the house.
Oh, I guess we know what's next then. Also, Gangster Rap, the Glockumentary, and a film called, and this feels like a film that Ben Chaplesky would have starred in, The Life of Lucky Cucumber. So that's an actual film title, The Life of Lucky Cucumber. Shaking my damn head. But here's the thing. His personality in this works so well with Trey Parker. And yes, they have worked together on a number of films. So yes, this is very much a film made by friends who work together. That's very much the Trey Parker, Matt Stone kind of MO. And it's very similar to like Adam Sandler or Kevin Smith. They work with their friends, so they have fun on set. And Dion Bahar looks like he's having a ton of fun. And you're right, too. The fact that they made this character an absolute genius with all these patents, so he doesn't need to do porn. He just has an insatiable sex drive that he needs to fulfill, and this is how he does it. But he's not a sleazy character, which is why I think Ben and Joe work well together.
Yeah.
Michael Dean Jacobs, who played Max Orbison, and yes, that's Max with 3 X's, the film director and the bad guy of this film. And I'm watching this movie, I'm like, if this wasn't a $1 million budget only, you have to think that this is played by Jeremy Piven.
Jeremy Piven.
Tell me I'm wrong. You tell me that if this wasn't a big budget film, Jeremy Piven would have been perfect for this role.
No, absolutely. But I think that they did a pretty good job picking that actor over Ron Jeremy. I gotta say, after you said that, I was like, no, they definitely went the right way.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, because I have a feeling that if Ron Jeremy is your big bad, then it becomes more farcical than it is an actual decent storyline. Michael Dean Jacobs gives Max Orbison a little bit more credibility as the bad guy. I mean, and that's the thing. Keep in mind too, like, this is not Boogie Nights, right?
Mm-hmm.
Michael Dean Jacobs isn't here as this almost, I don't want to say benign, but almost like a more gentle kind of porn director, like Burt Reynolds was in Boogie Nights. Like, Burt Reynolds, even though he's directing porn, he comes off as kind of like a grandfather or a dad to a lot of these porn actors. He's trying to create this family. He's trying to pursue art. Max Orbison doesn't give a shit about the art of the porno film. He's here to make stupid, silly porno with people getting it on. That's pretty much it. But that's good for this character because he is the antithesis of the naivety that Joe is.
Mm-hmm. He's definitely that the classic, devil and angel sort of, he's that devil in the corner trying to bring you to the dark side type of thing.
Yeah.
I also think that he plays a pretty good, like, for lack of better words, villain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you could tell that he's the bad guy, but you can't really tell why just yet. Like, you can tell that, like, yeah, he's a piece of crap because of, like, he's trying to force Joe to get into this, but at the same time, it's, yeah, no, I think he plays it really well.
Right. And that's the thing too, like, with Ben Chaplesky being such a good person as well, even though, sex drive aside, he's a good person, right? Because that's the thing. It's not like Ben is lecherous to the other porn stars. That's where the family feel kind of comes in with the actors working on the film. Like, they all seem to get along until Max starts bringing in other actors for the sequel. But yeah, with Max trying to hold off on giving Joe his money and all this, and like forcing him to kind of push his boundaries a little bit further before the stunt cock comes in. And yes, I said stunt cock. Get used to it. This film says it a lot. But yeah, no, he is definitely pushing the right buttons. And yeah, like you see that turn too when things don't go his way, when he realizes that the contract has been rescued from his little henchman. We're not going to give the whole story away, but please do go watch Orgazmo. If you like good, silly laughs, the film is definitely a good time. Robin Lynn, who played Lisa, the fiance, in her only ever film appearance, your thoughts?
It's shocking to hear that that's their only ever film appearance. I feel like even though it's their only film appearance, they come off very much like that classic South Park character. Like, and I'm going to use this word a lot when it comes to these characters, but everybody literally is a caricature.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes, they're an over exaggeration of a stereotype. And I think that, she comes off very much daddy's little princess, very richy rich. Like, she has money, but she's not willing to spend that money on Joe. And like, she comes off very close-minded, but then like when she kind of sees, okay, there's definitely some benefit to the porn industry, even though he's not like doing the action scenes really. I don't know. I think she played the part very well. I would have loved to have seen her in other sort of like Trey Parker projects for sure, because she's just she fits the mold perfectly, I think, for those types of characters.
Oh yeah. I mean, Lisa is written to perfectly match Joe. Like, the two of them, their naivety kind of works together. But I think, and I'm going to kind of play off of what you were talking about there, the fact that Robin Lynn Rabe, this is her only film appearance, that's a crime. Because I think Robin Lynn did a fantastic job in this film. Like, there's the moment where she's waiting at the apartment for Joe to come back, and she's found the Orgazmo film and she's watching it, and you just see the hurt in her eyes. And like, even as she's like trying to wrap her head around the fact that she thinks that he's having sex with these women, even though there's stunt cock, right? You see this like tear just drip down her face as she's talking. And I'm like, holy, for $1 million film, she's giving a $10 million performance. Like, Robin, if you're listening to this show, you should be back on the screen. You did a fantastic job in this film.
Insert applause sound now.
Right?
Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't know why she didn't appear in any other films. I don't know why. I'm sure there's reasons, but it sure as heck ain't for lack of talent, because she proved in a film called Orgazmo that she has very good acting talents. Like a very unheralded performance, but yeah, she was perfect for the role, because the role was meant to be the female version of Joe, basically. That perfect, pristine, white picket fence kind of image that the two of them are going to create. And like, even the whole, like, Jesus and I love you, and it works for her. Like, I'm surprised. I don't know. Like, sometimes you sit there, you say, this is their only film, and you're like, yeah, no, I understand. This is their only film. I don't understand. She's a fantastic actress. Ron Jeremy. Yeah, Ron Jeremy. And dear listeners, this isn't the first time we've talked about Ron Jeremy on this podcast, because of course he was also in Boondock Saints, which I can't believe this one, or that one actually also qualified too. But here we are talking about Orgazmo and Ron Jeremy, basically playing Ron Jeremy. Your thoughts on him?
I know who Ron Jeremy is, and I'm not familiar with his work. Like, I've never seen.
That's putting it real gentle right there. Not familiar with his filmography, if you will.
Yeah, no, I wasn't around for that era. I'm not doing my homework there. I think he plays the sleazy porn star very well, because that's what he was.
Yeah,
that's what he was. And like, obviously, in more recent years, what I'm meant to say, you find out that he truly was a piece of and I in a way, I'm not shocked, because I feel like you could easily assume that most people in that industry, especially in the old school days, were pieces of crap. But yeah, no, he plays the egotistical, full of himself porn star very well. No brainer. It flowed easily. Like, if you're asking, okay, to answer your question, he played the role really well, even though it was kind of like an over the top, overacting sort of whatever, but I feel like that was the shtick for his era. If you really think about it, in the 80s and 90s, it was very much that slapstick sort of like porn plot, like
cue the music.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. I want to put this into perspective here, okay? I'm not going to go through all of his films, because, yeah, he's been in some mainstream films, again, like Boondock Saints and Detroit Rock City. Like, yeah, he's been in some recognizable name films because they've been actual big releases. And then I took a look at his filmography. I'm not even going to go through any of the titles, because some of them are just, some are hilarious, like The Sexorcist. Ron Jeremy has been in, according to IMDb, 1,627 films.
Jeez.
1,627 films. I how does it not fall off? Like, for reals.
How is there anything left? How is there anything left? The tank is empty, my guy. Just
right?
Stop.
Oh, dear God.
I'm still scrolling right now.
I mean, yeah. Has he been in bigger films? Yes, absolutely. But 1,627 films. Oh, and for the record, apparently he's in the Guinness Book of World Records for most appearances in adult films. That list apparently is 1,750 and counting.
Oh, well, I mean, in the world where everything was on VHS at the time, I saw like a beginning of a documentary once where they're like, VHS was the ultimate platform because anybody could make anything and release it because it was on tape. Tape was so easy to just record on and distribute. And what makes me laugh, especially in this scenario, is that there's so many sequels. Why are there sequels?
Because apparently we haven't told the story of the Sexorcist enough. I don't know. Matt Stone, who played Dave, the lighting guy. I mean, you can't have a Trey Parker film without Matt Stone in it.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on him?
Classic. I can't even begin to start on how he plays his characters. Again, these two are best of friends. They play off of each other so well. I feel like, and I'm going to assume here that anytime they work together, it's the battle of who can make who crack. And just watching him with the hair and the mustache and like how he gets super excited, he starts screaming. I get that because also me being a photographer, sometimes I'll be shooting a show and I get so excited by what I'm watching, I start screaming like that too. So, woo! Twins.
That's some hot right there. But that's the thing, though. Dave feels like that kind of recurring SNL character joke, right? Because it's the same shtick every time, right? Like there's the overreaction while the scene is going on, and then it's like, I don't want to sound like a queer or nothing, but I'd like Barry Manilow or something like that, right? Like it feels like that. But I love the fact that the final running of that joke, he became the recipient of the line instead of the giver of the line. I'm like, that you stuck the landing on a running gag. Thank God for Sancho.
Yeah, Sancho.
Since we mentioned him, John Marlowe, who played Sancho, like this is one of those characters that just came in for like one scene and was there, and freaking Sancho. He is Sancho.
Yeah.
Are you Sancho? No, you are not Sancho. I am not Sancho. Sancho is Sancho. Like, I don't know where they came up with that character, but John Marlowe as Sancho.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect because it's like, I feel like especially in that time, you look at a lot of the there were like telenovelas were huge, soap operas were huge. There was always that like over exaggerated foreign love interest, and you had like the Fabios and stuff like that, and just having him show up dressed the way he was with the accent, the deep Spanish accent, sounds like it's perfect.
I love that you mentioned Fabio, because this is kind of like if you took Fabio and you took Al Pacino from Scarface and you mashed them together. This is the love baby that they made. Sancho is their love baby.
Couldn't agree more.
But I like the fact that it's just a small part, because I get the feeling the Sancho joke would die really fast, but they put it in about halfway through, around like that hero's journey turning point for Joe, where he finally stands up for himself and says he's going to leave the film. That's a good spot to bring Sancho in, because it's a joke that can only go so far. It can only be told so many times. But I think they found the perfect comedic balance in the fact that he's the one that sticks the landing on the Dave gag, the running gag. That works so well.
I feel like their execution on these like one-time jokes are really good, right? Because they have that again, like you said, it wasn't overdone, so you didn't get tired of hearing about it. There's this one scene that also sticks out to me where it was either a stunt cock or it was just a random actor in one of the scenes, and he comes in nonchalantly, sort of sauntering over, and he goes, "Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going?
How you doing?
Hey,
How you doing?
How you doing? How you doing?" You know, and I'm like, that is such a South Park joke, and it was perfect.
That's right there with everyone slapping their ass before a scene, right?
Yeah, it's the lick of the head and the slap of the ass.
Just get in there. I haven't slapped my ass yet. Get in there. Oh dear God. Masao Maki as G Fresh, the owner of the sushi shop. This is one time where I think they may have killed that joke a little bit, but your thoughts on G Fresh?
God. At first, when I was watching the movie, I thought he was this other actor. Let me see if I can pull up his name real quick. Balls of Fury. I'm trying to remember the actor's name here. I thought that he was James Hong.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, here's the thing. James Hong has been in like freaking everything.
Yeah.
Like he's a go-to. Here's another guy with, and again, according to IMDb, as an actor, 461 films to his credit. He is a legendary working actor. He's a go-to guy. James Hong is a perfect Hollywood working actor.
Yeah.
But I can see why you might think it's James Hong, but it's not. It's Masao Maki.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that I could see James Hong taking that role and kind of rolling with it. But your thoughts, I mean, like, did the G Fresh way of speaking, did his dialogue, did it grate on you a little bit after a bit?
It got annoying fast, but I could still appreciate it because, again, you're in LA. Nothing is real in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just speaking on what I've seen. I've never been to LA to properly experience this. But again, you're in LA. Nothing is real. Everything is just over the top, and it's excusable in a way because you're like, we're in LA. Of course, there's a straight up Asian restaurant owner in a sushi bar talking like a gangster, dressed up like LL Cool J, might I add.
For the record, Masao Maki really hasn't done much since Orgazmo, but he is going to be the voice of Mr. Money in Mr. Yanagi's Aliens, releasing in 2024. So if it hasn't already come out, he's back. Woo! Oh, he's back. But I think for G Fresh, yeah, the way of talking, it's funny at first. The brilliant part for G Fresh is when you get the beatdown scene from the guys who are trying to get him to sign the contract. And like they beat the crap out of him. They cut to him, and there's like this little cut on his face, and it's like, oh no, and then of course like they clearly throw like a mannequin dummy into the wall, like
because the head turned,
right?
The head turned.
And I love the fact that they leave it in, like it's so gloriously bad, like. That's the thing. This film doesn't shy away from the fact that it is absolutely absurd and leaving that stuff in. We did an episode a while back on Samurai Cop. And dear God, the fight scenes where the dude is wearing the wig and the wig almost falls off and the other guy helps put the wig back on, and they left it in the film. But that movie wasn't supposed to be a comedy. This is a comedy. They're leaning into it. So the fact that they're tossing obvious dummies into the wall. And it was the same thing with Ron Jeremy when they did the karate kick to the face, and they showed like the face, like the foot shattering into the head, but it's clearly a ceramic head that they break. Like, I love the fact that that's Like, this film isn't just making fun of the Mormon religion. It's not just making fun of porno. It's making fun of kung fu films, and I freaking love it.
Yeah, I love these old, like, the old school kung fu movies where you could, like, sit back and watch and go, oh, no.
Toddy Waters, who played Georgie. Now, this was the porn star that had the constantly changing breast implants. And it was really tight with Chota Boy. Your thoughts?
I think that she played the perfect sort of like almost like ditzy blonde porn actress. And like the stereotype. And then again, you're in LA, the land of plastic surgery. You know, they don't call it Silicon Valley for nothing, you know. I'm just saying, you know. I think that overall the people, even though they have small roles, they play them really well. There's no one I think that had a small role who didn't stand out for their own reasons. And that's one of the people there that I could easily say, like, yeah, like you had very minimal lines, but your screen time was really good.
Yeah.
You never broke character. You never, you know, so that's really good.
Yeah. I mean, yes, you did have some, for lack of a better term, mattress actresses that were in here. You know, actresses like Chasey Lane and Melissa Bonet and Jacqueline Lick. Yes, that's her name. But I think with Georgie, as played by Toddy Walters, who is not a mattress actress, I love the fact that Georgie is played almost wholesomely. So, you know, the fact that she and Chota Boy are, you know, it's almost like the start of an actual relationship between the two. And because Ben is a good person, a genius, and Chota Boy, and you've got Georgie, who is, yeah, maybe a little light up top in the head department, but big in the heart department. Like, I like the two of them together. I liked that Georgie and Chota Boy were kind of almost like an unconfirmed thing, you know, like the relationship status would be, it's complicated, but I liked her performance in this. I thought it was ridiculously wholesome in a film about porno films.
Yeah.
David Dunn, who played A Cup. So A Cup is the nephew of Max Orbison, who's brought in with all the Kia kind of thing. Just straight up asshole. Your thoughts on him?
Oh man, when he came, you know who would have played a really good version of this? I feel would be Jean-Claude Van Damme. I feel like let me tell you, this guy for me seemed like a spoof of Van Damme with the way that he was dressed, the haircut, the body shape, but also the mannerisms, especially with the Kia. And you could still see a lot of those of reference to that character in South Park, because when Randy learns martial arts, it's very much that character, but not as big of an asshole.
I mean, I can't picture Jean-Claude Van Damme after, you know, doing the splits and doing all these moves, like literally dropping a fart and like whipping it in someone's face. Like, that's not the Jean-Claude Van Damme that I thought we were going to get. But I get it though. Like, A Cup feels like the kind of guy who was watched and memorized every single Van Damme movie. Yeah. And has encompassed that. But he's such an asshole. So the fact that his deadly move is the fart flick feels kind of like the perfect move. By the way, David Dunn, this is only one of only 2 films that he's ever done. The other one was a film about mixed martial artist fighters that he co-wrote. So it kind of makes sense that he's this character as well. So I like the fact that they brought in this kind of extra villain, almost like that next to the end boss level in a video game.
Yeah.
Can you defeat the fart man?
This episode is brought to you by Skinny Pop Popcorn. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. oh so light and crunchy. Skinny Pop Original Popcorn is the snack you've been searching for. Made with just 3 simple ingredients: popcorn kernels, sunflower oil, and salt. Snacking never felt or tasted so good. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Give yourself permission to snack and pick up Skinny Pop Original Popcorn today.
Elevate your game in the all-new Hyundai Santa Fe, the capable SUV that features premium interiors with available captain's chairs, available dual wireless device charging, and bold new technology, all with plenty of room for your cargo and crew. Okay, Hyundai. Visit HyundaiUSA.com to learn more about the all-new 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe.
Okay, so we talked about the fact that this film mocks religion, it mocks porn, it mocks kung fu films. But the one question as I'm watching this movie, and it's the one thing that baffles me the most, and it's not the critics' score. How the hell is this film NC-17? Like, R rating? Yes, absolutely. How the is this film? This episode is more NC-17 than I think what you get with Orgazmo. So to you, obviously not knowing what the what the ratings board was looking at in this, do you think this is an NC-17 film?
I feel like, because of the nature of it, and probably also because of the damn title of the movie, is what got it what it got. Here's the thing, because for my personal reasons, I watched the unrated version, which happens to not really have much difference apparently than the theatrical one. But I'm just like, listen, you have some nudity, like very quick nudity, but there's a lot of ass. Okay. I think also with accompanying the swear words, I listen, I feel like NC-17 is a redundant rating. I think that, you have your PG-13 and then you have your rated R. Like, I feel like NC-17 is just kind of
Yeah. I mean, let me just read to you from IMDb here for a second. So violence and gore, mild. Like, it's not it's comic fighting. Like, the fight scenes are hilarious. They're funny as hell. It's not a violent film, right? There's not even really blood except for like the one little scratch on like G Fresh's face and then like a little bloody lip from a punch. Yeah. But that's it. Like, so it's not a violent film. No one's taking drugs. Right? Yeah, there's a drink in there, there's some smoke in there, but that's not whatever. Like, frightening and intense scenes, none. Profanity. Okay? 57 uses of the word, but that's it. For the record, the film with the most given is The Wolf of Wall Street, and that's not an NC-17 film. So. And yes, there is a lot of innuendo. There's a lot of, they're talking about these scenes a lot. Like they're talking about scenes like a DVD scene, but you don't see any of that. Really the only nudity you see are males' bare asses.
For the majority, yeah. You got a lot of side boob. There was that one like full front boob, but like,
yeah, no, there is really nothing in this film that you would think is an NC-17. So like, and if I remember correctly, this film was actually talked about in the documentary, This Film Is Not Yet Rated. And that is a fantastic documentary. If you've ever wanted to get into a real good, almost like investigative breakdown as to what goes into rating films, you have to watch the documentary This Film Is Not Yet Rated. It's I don't want to say it's a gripping documentary, but you are definitely not looking away. There is nothing in this film that should make anyone think that it's an NC-17 rating. R rating? Hells yes. No question whatsoever. Okay? But NC-17, give me a freaking break. Like, really, give me, like, France. France has it listed for 12 and up. Iceland has it rated for 12 and up. The Netherlands, 12 and up. NC-17? Nah.
Yeah.
Like, just nah. There is no reason. 18 plus, sure, no problem. R rating, yes. NC-17, go f yourself. That's with that NC-17.
Yeah.
No, this film is funny. It's goofy. It's over the top. There's nothing. There's nothing sexy about this film, right? It's all done in comedy. So I don't understand. Like, this film could have been a really good box office R-rated film, but yet the NC-17 rating really kind of hampered them at trying to make their money back. Now, I guarantee you they made that money back in DVD sales and VHS sales and Blu-rays and the like, but I think it's a crime that this film suffered at the box office because prudes who rate the films and give them those ratings, those little letters and numbers, saw NC-17 in this. Like even to that token, Showgirls, I don't understand why the hell Showgirls is NC-17. Maybe more for the drugs there than anything else. But really? I mean, Showgirls is a crime unto itself. Let's be honest, if you've ever watched the film. But this, it's funny. It's over the top. It is. And it's not even like it's offensive. Like, are they making a little bit of fun of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? Yeah. But it's, right? Dogma takes more pot shots at religion than this film does. In fact, I think this film, of all the things that they're skewering in this film, religion is the least of them.
I definitely think that the era has a huge part into probably why I got an NC-17, because I was watching like the making of Day of the Dead, which is a great George Romero movie for you zombie lovers out there. And he was saying, like, when I originally made the movie and presented the script, they go, "We're not going to give you an R. We're going to rate this a rated X."
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "Are you kidding me? Like, you barely got action. When there is action, yes, you know, it can be gory. It's a zombie movie, for Christ's sake. But, like, you know, I totally agree. Like, these types of ratings can make or break a movie. And I definitely agree with you when you say that rating basically anchored down that movie, and it couldn't have gone where it should have gotten."
Let me kind of I want to put it comparable here. Okay. Orgazmo.
Mm-hmm.
Silly comedy. No boobs. No actual sex.
Yeah.
NC-17.
Yeah.
The Human Centipede is only rated R, and they are stitching mouth to ass multiple times in that film. And it's rated R.
Yeah. Now you're a man.
I mean, you don't like the song. You're tone deaf, but I don't understand. Like, this is the biggest mystery of this film. There is nothing in this movie that is NC-17. Same thing with Team America World Police, right? They were fighting in NC-17 because of the puppet sex in that film.
Yeah.
Little wooden marionettes on strings. And they were like, oh, they were having too much sex. Too much weird sex. There's pee and poo going. Like, and that almost got NC-17. And they literally had to pull out one or two scenes from the puppet sex scene to get back to R.
I would love to interview Trey Parker and Matt Stone in an episode like this, just to kind of get their opinions on the whole NC-17 thing, you know?
Yeah. I mean, there are films from the 80s that are rated PG that are way worse than this. And I'm just like, what? Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently 1997, there were prudes at the rating boards. That's basically what it boils down to. All right, Alex, we have come to the end of the show. So I ask you, who is your MVP of this definitely not NC-17 Orgazmo?
Oh man, there's so many good ones. I'm gonna say my MVP is gonna be Chota Boy.
Dion Bahar, who,
Yeah.
as Ben Chaplesky, Chota Boy. Why?
I think it's just the genius behind the actor. You know what I'm saying? Like you have all these degrees, you make all of these patents, all of these inventions. You're in the industry, but you're not really taken seriously because you're a sidekick, but you're pulling your weight. You know, I think, and he also has a bunch of funny lines here and there. He's a bit of the punching bag when it comes to being the sidekick. It's like there's just a lot going on for him, and that's why he's my MVP.
Right. And the funny thing is, he's also my MVP as well. To me, Chota Boy was kind of like the heart of the film.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's the one that has the bigger character arc. I mean, yes, Joe Young, kind of has he gets through it and he gets his girl back and all. Chota Boy is the one that actually has the full reckoning in this film, where he goes from brilliant genius porn star to playing a superhero to actually being a superhero. And you actually see his character become almost like he's finding himself more, because Joe doesn't really change much, but Ben does. Yeah. And I love it. Dion Bahar, definitely, grand consensus MVP for Orgazmo. Alex, thank you so much for this. Now, please, before we go, let our listeners know what you're up to and where they can find you out there on the interwebs.
So if you like photography and you're in Ottawa and you want to see what I got, you could find me on Instagram at Photographs by AC. If you like music and you like recording sessions and hearing stuff you don't necessarily hear out of hits, you can find me on YouTube at AC Official Music Page.
All right, dude. I can't wait to find out what movie you've picked off of my shelf to watch next. And to you, our dear listeners, well, you guys know the drill. If there is a movie out there that you think is unfairly maligned, or there's no way in an unwarranted NC-17 way that we can find anything good to say about it, hit us up on social media at Not That Badcast, or go to our website at notthatbadcast.com. And while you're there, oh boy, get ready, because we are getting ready to announce the movies we are talking about for our end of year grading on a curve. And I apologize to all of our guests on that one in advance. We got some good stuff for the end of the year. Until next time, he's Alex, I'm Jay. You guys are awesome. This is It's Not That Bad, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. And now you're a man.